Hey there guys, how are you? Welcome back to another awesome video. And guess what, folks? As you can see, I'm back in business. It's a whole long story to it. We'll get to that later. But we're back with another awesome video. And it's time to do, once and for all, a movie review. It's been a while. It's time to do a movie review. And this movie review is going to be on an old classic, Back to the Future. So Back to the Future is about a kid named Marty McFly who travels back in time to the year 1955. I'm pretty sure it's 55. I've mistaken it for 65, 55 through the past times I've watched this movie and stuff, but I'm pretty sure it's 55. And he basically has to fix the events of uniting his parents, meeting for the first time, having their first kiss, stuff like that. So that way him along with his brother and sister are not erased from existence and from the future down the line. So this movie is directed by Robert Zemeckis. This is, I don't know if this was his first if this was his first movie that was his directorial debut. Excuse me a little bit. Apologies in advance on sort of if I sound like shit. It's a whole crazy story, but like I said, let's just put that for hold right now and just focus on this. So there's definitely some movies that I'm familiar with that he's done. I think he's done Castaway. He did like Romance in the Stone or something like that, something with Michael Douglas. I don't know, but this is the one movie that people associate with Robert Zemeckis when it comes to that name. And I don't think if it worked for this guy, we wouldn't have such a beloved movie, because there's really not a lot to say. Well, there's a lot to say about this movie, but in terms of saying, if you want to try and say something bad about this movie, it's hard to say that because this is such a beloved movie. This is such a beloved franchise because it's a trilogy. But the first Back to the Future is beloved. It's very iconic for many things. A lot of the writing, obviously the actors, all the little things like the DeLorean itself. Who wouldn't want a DeLorean? That is a freaking awesome car to have. And the fact that it goes in time is even better. Like, that's a sweet car, and the plus side is it can go back in time to any time, past, present, or future. Like, that is a very iconic movie car. The little lines here and there that people know that are very kind of quotable. Why don't you make like a tree and get out of here, butthead? You got Biff Tannen, so that quote there. You got the Great Scott, Marty. Marty going, oh gosh, Doc, this is heavy. The flux capacitor, the story with the flux capacitor, how he's Doc Brown slipped on the toilet and bumped his head and just figured out time travel. All the little things. If it weren't for this movie and were for Robert Zemeckis, and just, it's kind of hard to not say this is, if there's anything bad with this movie, to be quite honest. Sure, I'm gonna point this out and say that there was I know there's a whole thing. I don't know if the internet is aware of all this or not, but there was an actor who was originally supposed to be Marty McFly, I think named Eric Schultz or something like that, Eric something, and they did a few shots and films and well, not films, but they shot a few scenes from the movie and everything. And sure, he probably did good. I haven't seen any of that test footage they did with Eric, but he probably was good. But let's face it, Michael J. Fox kind of brings this character a little bit more not brighter, but he has a lot more young spunk to it. Sure, there are definitely a lot of younger actors out there that nowadays probably could do what Michael J. Fox did back then for Marty McFly, but in a way, that's kind of his character, and how well he kind of just brought it together with how the way he dressed up, the sort of his attitude towards life, having to be a normal kid, but have this sort of like crazy, like, now I'm like, I have to basically have this is all like carrying on me. So if I don't bring my parents together and have them kiss, then I'm done for. I'm basically erased from existence via, like, not literally snapped, but literally like just dissolved from existence and everything. So Michael J. Fox is obviously fantastic. Him and how Christopher Lloyd work together, their chemistry is great. You feel like they've become close friends over time. You feel like they know each other for a while, not for quite a while, but like in the middle ground where it's like not too like recent, but not too long ago. But you definitely feel their chemistry. Christopher Lloyd, obviously being Doc Brown, he's the big old one-liner guy. But not only that, but he obviously brings us a movie too. Those two bring the movie together. The effects still are really good. The way they kind of scheme out how they're going to plan this and how they're going to do this sort of thing, like bringing the parents together, how they're going to go back to the present, how Marty's going to go back to his time, back to like, what was it, 1985 or something like that. I don't even remember. I think it's 1985 that Marty was around, and then his parents were in high school like in 55. So something like that. I guess that makes sense because his parents are like 30 years old, something like that. So I guess I don't know. I don't know where this is going, but I'm just trying to figure this out because I'm trying to basically remember this stuff. But him trying to get back to his time. Sure, there's not a lot of action, but it's not really. I mean, it does good on action, it does good on the comedy, because that's another thing that the movie does. It does a lot of good comedy, like with youth, with the adults, and with obviously the high school comedy kind of going on a little bit back in the day, sort of the little references they kind of have. The music is a key part in sort of in accommodating a movie sometimes. So even the littlest of moments in a movie with song do help this film out. So you got that song, The Power of Love, that people know because of this movie. I'm trying to think. There's what was it, Mr. Sandman? I don't know if that's really the most memorable like song in a movie, but just that point of there's the music kind of does bring the movie together sometimes, because it all just, with everything, every little piece, it comes together. It really is it's a little bit weird. It might be uncomfortable for some people, but it is kind of funny in an odd way that here's Marty basically sitting down with basically his mom when she was in high school, and now his mom has the hots for him. So it's kind of like, that's my mom. Let's not do that, please. Yikers, sort of thing. So that sort of little like humor there. A lot of old school things, a lot of like little things like that. Obviously, you got Biff being like very dumb but very funny. He's like your bully character. I don't remember who the actor's name that played him, but obviously the sequences with him are good, because obviously you got that memorable scene when they're chasing him, and then Marty makes a skateboard for the first time, and he basically falls into a pile of shit. Basically, it's cow manure, so it's basically shit. He crashes into. The feel of these eras, you get a feel that you feel like you're in that era, and obviously movies do that so well, but just another thing to kind of point out, because obviously that's another thing that this movie does good, is when you're in that era of 55, you kind of like, you get that feel, the old school cars, the gas stations, what you got, the little diners and stuff like that, little schwingdigs, doo-wops, sort of things you'd see in Greece, sort of thing, like the way they dress, the clothing, the poodle skirts, the slicked hair, the leather jackets, biker gloves, stuff like that. All those little things. Well, obviously, obviously this movie was released in the 80s and was made in the 80s, so it obviously is the 80s. It's very nostalgic to people. People love it. Whether you're an adult, whether you're a kid my age, whether you're younger than me, whether you're older than me, it doesn't matter. People love this movie, and it's hard to kind of say there's something wrong with it. Sure, some people are kind of a little bit on the flip side of like the second movie or even the third. I don't know, to be honest. I don't know if the thing is, I don't know if even the trilogy as a whole is even that bad, because they're all great with the heart, with the humor, with the comedy, with the action, with the effects, the the concept of time travel. That is always a cool thing to people, is time travel. How does like different ways of time travel, and this is another way that's kind of interesting and kind of different, through a car, not through just this portal, or through, I don't know, what was it, the little not micro watches, the quantum watches, or whatever they were called. But it's hard to say there's anything wrong with this movie. People just kind of love it. It's become a favorite among people. This is definitely one of my favorite sci-fi films. It's definitely one of my favorite films of it in general. If I were to have like a top like 100 films, Back to the Future would be on this list. If I had top 10, 5, 20 sci-fi films, it'd be on here. Point is, there's not a lot to say in terms of like what was wrong with this movie. Sure, you have that thing I said about they recast somebody and they had other choices and everything. That's nothing bad. That's nothing new, to be honest, because that happens. You get casted for one thing, but then it doesn't work out. Let's say because of this line, or maybe because of budget, or maybe because of like schedule wise. Because what's really great with the sort of like Eric Stoltz and Michael J. Fox sort of Marty McFly situation is that I don't know how the other guy's schedule was, Eric's schedule was, but Michael was very determined on this, and he really put a lot of dedication to this character, and really put a lot of dedication to this film, because I bring that a lot. I'm bringing that big and heavy right now, and no pun intended, basically, but I bring that up heavily because the fact that at this time, not at that time they were shooting Back to the Future. Michael J. Fox was still doing his comedies. I think he was doing I forgot what sitcom he was doing at the time, but he was doing that the same time he was doing the movie and still doing everything else and working around his schedule, and it worked perfectly in the fact that he was able to say, you know what, I may be doing this, that, like 5 other things, but I'm still going to put in my effort to do this movie and make sure that this becomes basically a success. And sure, was this a movie that Robert looked at and said, maybe this could be good, maybe this could be bad? Probably, because some directors have their doubts. Like, obviously, well, not obviously, but obviously directors have that situation. Heck, for all I know, I've written like 4 scripts of movies, and for all I know, I'm thinking to myself, these could be good, but then in the back of my head, I'm like, this could go wrong too. So there's always those doubts. But in the end, this is a movie that just really came together full circle. There's not really a lot that's bad. Obviously, the 2 main stars, Christopher Lloyd, Michael J. Fox, are great. The supporting roles are great. Obviously, with the bully, I forgot the actor's name, Biff's name. The mother, the father, the principal that always shows up in every 80s movie. That one bald guy. I don't know what his name is, but he seems to show up in those movies. Everything just all comes together pretty well. There's not a lot to kind of say. And in terms of nuances of what to add to a Back to the Future review, there's not really a lot. It's kind of hard to say, to be quite honest. It's just a beloved classic film that it held up back in '85. It still holds up today. It's genuine. It really is genuine at moments. It has genuine moments. It has funny moments. It knows kind of be a little fun, a little serious, kind of there's a little bit suspense and everything. Kind of, it has a little sci-fi elements, has a little action elements, has a little bit of drama, has a little bit of moments that kind of make you laugh, make you cry. I didn't cry at this, but I'm just saying an example for maybe people that cried, or maybe a sad moment was maybe when you had Doc Brown get shot at the beginning, and then there's Marty like, oh my gosh, Doc, and he's got to basically make sure that he can somehow bring him back. And then that thing too, this sort of situation of time travel, and this always is brought up in time travel related movies, is the situation of going back in time and trying not to change things and try not to alter things and try not to do this and that and bump into your younger self and do this and do that and say this, say that. Be careful what you say. Be careful what you do. Be careful what you wear. You got to do this and that and those other things. All those little steps that can obviously mess up time travel. Obviously, Endgame acknowledges this sort of thing. Every time travel-related movie acknowledges sort of thing. And it's not a bad thing. It always happens because it's going to happen. If you were to time travel to, let's say, I don't know, who knows, like an earlier time in life, and you accidentally encounter your parents, like when they were, let's say, your age in high school, there's going to be stuff that's going to happen that you're kind of be like, oh, what? And then you'll realize you're not going to realize what you just said, sort of thing. So even that moment, so it's funny in that moment when Marty goes back to find Doc Brown from like the past to try and tell him, look, he's trying to tell him, look, dude, you die, and I'm trying to warn you. And he's like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. So it's funny that way. Those little things like that. And even trying to slip in the little letter saying, look, wear bulletproof vest. Boom. Took that letter, and there you go. Now he's saved. So everything's A-okay. But just that little thing like that, too. But I don't know what else to really kind of say. It's just a really fantastic film. And if there's someone out there that actually hates this movie, I'm curious what do you think and why? Let me know in the comments. If there's anybody that doesn't like this movie, I want to know why, because I'm curious. If there's not, that's fine and everything. I'm gonna give Back to the Future a big old A+. So let me know in the comments, what do you think of Back to the Future? Is there anything that you like or maybe dislike about this film? Is there anything? Name a movie you think everybody loves that is hard to say it's a bad movie, sort of movie. Like it's a movie that everybody loves and nobody hates. Besides Back to the Future, let me know if there's any movies you could think of that are like that. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please smash the like button. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. I do awesome videos every day, if not every week. I'm going to try and get back into videos a little bit more. The reason why I've been out of a slump is, well, I've had technical difficulties with uploading stuff lately, basically, for lack of a better word. There's been other stuff going on, not personally, but just that here being in Florida, being in Newport Richey, we have like the hurricane, the storm coming around and stuff like that. So that's been going on. Speaking of the storm and all that stuff, why I sound like crap, I think it has to do with the weather. So I have allergies. So I'm sorry if I sound like I'm under the weather. It's probably allergies. I'm not sick whatsoever. It's just allergies for me, probably because it gets like this. So I'm going to put myself out there like that. I'm probably going to get better. That's fine. In terms of like me getting back in the swing of things, I'm going to try and do a few videos this week, possibly. I'm out of school. I was out of school yesterday and today. I might be out tomorrow. I don't know. I don't think so. But if you guys are still in school, that's cool, I guess. I'm sorry to hear, but I guess that's cool. If you're not in school, that's even better. So, yeah, even this guy, I'm just kidding. I was going to say, yeah, even this guy has to do with time travel. X-Men Days of Future Past. Big old sentinel over here. But, enough about him. Yeah, we're just going to put you down right there. Shh, it's okay now. Shh. I don't know what that was, but so all seriousness though, it's just a storm. My allergies are not going to prevent me from doing videos, honestly, but it's just I've been kind of like caught in a few things, caught in like trying to do other stuff. We're in September, so just a big old heads up. Some people might care, some might not, but this month is my birthday month, and I'm excited to turn 18. In like, what is it, the 3rd? So 16 more days. And then I'm officially an adult and working on things like putting out jobs, maybe trying to get a car, stuff like that. Like these little things. And what else? I can't think off the top of my head a second. Just a lot of stuff has been going on. And then YouTube, just whether it's uploading or editing, has kind of been a little weird. So that's why this has kind of been it's been hard for me to make a video. And as for my good old pals over at J&T Incorporated, we just haven't had the time to really make a video. It's just the problem has been a lot of just personal stuff going on over there. Not too personal, but just sort of like a thing like, okay, we can't do it today because this person can't make it and this person can't make it and this sort of thing. But expect 2 videos, not 2 videos the same day, but expect a video Friday and expect a video on Saturday from us over there. Expect one on Friday of me and Jaden. We're gonna do like a bad quality like video or stream if we can get the switch, hopefully. And then Saturday is gonna be the whole everyone's here thing. So you're gonna see you're gonna see Jaden, you're gonna see Alex, you're gonna see Brandon, you're gonna see maybe Isaiah, you're gonna see some new faces. I don't know if I'll be there, to be honest, but if I can't, I'll see. I'm gonna be there for Friday. So that's that for you guys. In terms of what to expect, what's next for my channel. I don't know when, but I have a bunch of reviews I'm gonna put up for. I rather keep them a surprise, so to keep you guys on your toes on what's the next movie review, what's the next video. I've got like 3 other reviews I'm gonna work on. 4 other reviews actually, no 5. 5 reviews I'm gonna work on. I'm gonna try and work on 5 reviews. There's a movie news I'm gonna try and upload or edit. I got 2 top 10s I can do as well, and all sorts of stuff. So I'm gonna try and put these up as much as I can. As always, just try and bear with us a little bit. It's a little bit rough right now, but just try and bear with us. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.